Before my trip to Spain, I began thinking about what I would be most interested in while seeing on my trip. I've always loved architecture in big cities and areas that I visited, so I began wondering what the relationship between Spain, architecture, and culture was like. What influence do the various cultures and people have on what I would see in Spain? Prior to my trip, I took some time to do a bit of research to understand what architecture I would like in Spain. I was sure that it was going to be much different than my local surroundings here in Washington State. The colorful art of the modern buildings showed how deeply culture affects architecture. By exploring this topic, we can see how things like religions and local traditions shape construction decisions and the look of buildings. Churches and public buildings often have symbols that represent the beliefs of people, which also help create a sense of community. Each region in Spain has its own big role in building design. Additionally, looking at the question shows us to consider modern issues like eco-friendly designs, showing how today's architecture continues to reflect the values of cultures in Spanish society. Overall, researching how architecture and culture have connected us to better understand not just how buildings look, but also the stories and ideas behind them. Reflecting again on my research prior to my trip, I was really excited to visit the cultural monuments and architecture of Spain, especially in amazing cities like Barcelona and Madrid. These cities are filled with stunning buildings that tell stories about Spain's history and culture. Seeing famous sites like the Sagrada Familia in Barcelona or the Royal Palace in Madrid firsthand would make me understand more about the unique culture and geography of these places have influenced the way these buildings were designed. I was anxious to go on tours that would explain the backgrounds of these monuments, and me learn how local traditions and landscape of Spain shape their architecture. I'm also really interested in abstract buildings that are often colorful and original that push the boundaries of traditional design. Plus, the growing focus on sustainability in architecture fascinates me. I want to see how architects are creating buildings that are not just beautiful, but also environmentally friendly. Experiencing all of this in person would be thrilling, and it would deepen my understanding and appreciation for how culture, geography, and innovative ideas come together in architecture in such a vibrant country. As I prepare for this trip, I'm excited about the journey itself. Exploring the vibrant cityscape and viewing famous landmarks along the way will enhance my appreciation for Spain's unique blend of history, culture, and art in artistic expression. Each attraction represents different parts of what being so special, and experiencing them in person would be an unforgettable adventure. Now that I was in Spain, I was excited to see a list of popular attractions and landmarks of Spain. Our tour included quite a few that would surely give me a good idea and a good frame of reference for how cultures shaped Spanish architecture. One of the places was Sagrada Familia. The Sagrada Familia is a deeply cultural and religious landmark. It embodies the identity, architectural innovation, and designs from popular designer Antoni Gaudí. Another site we visited was Park Güell. Park Güell is another example of Antoni Gaudí's architectural design. Our tour guide told us that it was originally built as an exclusive residential community for the most elite of Barcelona, but the location from the main city and the other factors only led to a house with a few residents, including Gaudí himself. Since then, it has been turned to a touring park with beautifully landscaped areas, walkways with unique arches, and incredibly unique features, like a fountain with elaborate pavilions. We also got to drive by Casa Bastillo. This was yet another incredible Gaudí masterpiece. This building stands out by its wavy facade and vibrant colors inspired by the sea and nature. I learned that the ambitious urban planning project was approved in Barcelona called the Certeplan, where it's planned for an area of residences that are the city's most distinguished families. Another attraction that we got to visit over the course of our trip was La Rambla. It's a busy street in the heart of the city, perfect for strolling, enjoying street performances, and sampling local food. I had heard about La Rambla before my trip, and I knew that in the early days it was actually an area for a stream that flowed down to the sea. It was somewhat of a boundary between the older areas of the city and newer developing parts of Barcelona. One of the oldest parts of the city is the Gothic Quarter, a charming neighborhood with medieval streets, historic buildings, and the beautiful Barcelona Cathedral. The quarter's name comes from the Gothic architecture prevalent during the late Middle Ages. It originates back to the early Roman settlement of Barcelona in the 1st century BC. After returning home from my trip, I have to admit I was a bit sad. Every day of our trip filled with great experiences, food, and tours of the city architecture. Barcelona is a city where architectural marvels intertwine with rich cultural heritage, reflecting its vibrant spirit of historical significance. At the heart of this is the Sagrada Familia, an iconic Bastilla which has been under construction since 1882, designed by the famed architect Antonio Gaudí. This UNESCO World Heritage Site embodies the intersection of nature spiritually through its intricate facades and towering spires that symbolize the connection between heaven and earth, making it not just a place of worship but also a cultural landmark representing Catalonia's identity. Just nearby, Park Güell, also another one of masterpieces, whimsical mosaics of original shapes that the echo and artist's connection to the natural world necessary in Catalan culture, linking art with its environment. As I walk through this colorful park, I am reminded of the cultural resistance Barcelona underwent during the modernist movement when architecture and creativity flourished. The Gothic corridor with its medieval streets and majestic Barcelona Cathedral at its center showcases the city's rich historical narrative dating back to Roman times, embodying a cultural heritage that is both diverse and deeply rooted. Meanwhile, Casa Bastillo, renowned for its unique facade resembling flowing water in its skeletal structure, highlights the innovative spirit of the Catalan modernism, breaking traditional architectural norms and celebrating creativity through its fantastical design and embodiment of cultural nights of wonder. Complementing the architectural gems is La Rambla, a boulevard that serves as the lungs of the city, where lively street performances and local markets mirror the enhancing cultural experience. Lastly, Montjuic, which is a historical castle and lush gardens, not only offers breathtaking views but also represents the city's historical and political significance, showcasing how architecture is intertwined with Barcelona's narrative of resilience and admiration for its natural beauty.